Hello folks, name's Miguel Fernandez. I'm from the Personal Defense class. Today we're going to learn the various stances that I learned over time with the classes. For example, the first stance you're going to learn is going to be more of a neutral stance. As you can tell, equilibrium. You got to make sure everything is standing and make sure everything is done right, or more of an open palm. That is always the key. But you always gotta make sure of your own surroundings, of course. Second is more of the fighting stance. More or less having your hands balled up like so. Making sure that the surroundings you have are equal. Make sure you're never really off balance. Off balance warrior never really gets far, right, children? The third one is more on like your frontal side or rear elbow. For example, when you want to go more for a rear elbow, you want to go more upward, as your vertical stance will be more towards this part of your body right here. As for the rear, you want to go more towards the side, like so, as this part of your arm or your tricep will actually be providing you more of the force. It will also help if you actually use your palm, like so, to actually provide more of an impact. And normally I'll have a bigger surrounding, but that's also a key. But also you want to make sure when it comes to the rear, you do the same thing, but instead go more low and back. Of course, surroundings, senses, and visual representation is always key. The next one is the palm strike. For example, when you're going more for the chin, you want to go more upward as so. Like, so you have the palm reaches more of the chin area right here, but you want to go more like that. As for the ear, you want more silhouette motion, like sort of like that. Making sure that the palm itself hits the back of the ear, thus causing the equilibrium to the perpetrator to go off balance. Important, folks. With knee strikes, it's always important to make sure that you have a perfect balance. Not really perfect balance, but more both hands either like this or like this, and have a direct strike with your knee. Have enough force to where the knee will connect to either the sternum, if you have high enough flexibility, or the stomach, if you don't have that much flexibility. The important key factors is making sure that it has equal spots. Sometimes the perpetrator always goes in a certain direction and you want to be sure. When it comes to frontal kicks, you always want to do like a side kick, like so, a frontal kick, like so, then lift the side, like so, or more of a side winder. The important thing for these kicks is to off-balance the perpetrator. Hitting them in the knees will actually drop their balance long enough for you to either run away or to diffuse the situation and lower their defenses a little lower. And the important thing is blocking. You want to make sure that you're blocking from both sides and fronts right here. You want to make sure that you're overly blocking all the sides that you have in order to have a proper visual when it comes to going back and forth. Because you don't want to just go like this, because it leaves all this wide open for a direct attack. As long as you're blocking and doing it as a slow, subtle motion, you'll be alright in your book. When you're in a close-up situation and the person like myself is now wearing glasses, the best way to do it is a perfect eye gouge. How my hand is it? You want to make sure that the thumb is directly in the eye, not really directly in the eye, but more towards the socket, in order to have a proper push, thus reducing the person's range a lot easier, and a lot quicker too. Another one is the jugular dig, which is actually right around here. You just dig your hand right down there. It will stop them in their place very quickly, if I do say so myself. I've been victim to that before. Not really fun. Another one you can do, if the person has long hair, grab their hair and actually stop them from attacking, because they'll be focused on more of that in order to reduce the likelihood of that. Or an ear grab if they don't have hair or they're bald themselves. That always works towards the person's advantage. Varies really. Another one's more of a down defensive. If you're more down, you want to make sure that you're blocking and having your arms like that, or turn yourself into a ball. Actually, turning yourself into a ball is more likely of a factor for you not to get hurt in the process. So that way you can actually focus on trying how to get out there or survive long enough for law enforcement to come around if you can't really do that much. Another one is more of a choke defense. It's like I said, basically it's more on grabbing the wrist and pulling it towards or apart from you and delivering elbow blows in order to obtain more of a visualization. Like I said, I'm just by myself, so I can't really have another volunteer help me out with this one. But it's more of when you're going like this, try pulling their wrists apart and deliver elbow strike. It will more likely help you out in more of a run ready situation, especially when it comes to those types. Ladies, I know another skill actually that is more beneficial when you're facing a guy per se is a groin strike. Actually hitting them in the lower region will make them drop quicker than you can say 2 cans of sand on a Tuesday. Because believe it or not, the male genitalia is the most sensitive part of the human body next to the human cranium. In fact, more guys will go down quicker when you hit them in the groin region as opposed to hitting them in the head or hitting them in the chest, because they're more in the pain receptors, unless you got an iron nuts for a person. Same with a foot stomp, because if you do one of those foot stomps on a person that doesn't have steel-toe boots on, or if you yourself have steel-toe boots on and actually hit the person in the foot, they're more likely to stop, focus on the foot themselves in pain, and then that gives you enough time to run, detain the person, or gather help in the next situation. You never know when you need anything in the sort, especially when it comes to these types of situations. Back in the same topic as the foot, you actually attack the shin by doing more of a small side kick towards the shin area. Again, the person will grab their shin in the process of in pain. Pain receptors go back quicker. So when they go more towards the body part in question, they will focus more on the body part than you yourself as the individual in order to maintain proper distance. Last but certainly not least, we're going to basically talk about intuition and the senses. We want to make sure that our intuition correlates with our 5 senses. It's like, is the area safe? Is the area clear? Do I smell anything that has a dangerous factor? Do I see anything dangerous? Do I hear anything in the background, like screaming or children in pain or various other things? The important thing is we want to make sure that we're safe as individuals and we reduce our likelihood of crime. Victims of crimes, of course. Now, this has been Mr. Fernandez Speaks. For any more questions, I actually have a TikTok page called The Psycho Jack Saban. I also have a YouTube channel called Lay 3 Big, if you want to learn more. Thank you for this time frame. From Grand Rapids, Michigan, signing off. Have a wonderful day and Merry Christmas.
Only human, they don't see who they are is who they'll always be. Only human.